Hello, everybody. If you don't know me or you never saw me in a meeting, I am Vasulla Riden. I'm Greek Orthodox and I'm married to a Lutheran Swedish man. That's why I'm called Riden. I had this extraordinary encounter, I would say, or manifestation with God back in 1985. And it's something that I've been asked to share with all of you. And so I will do it because I've done other programs for other people too. And I want to share my experiences and the message that I have been receiving now for 13 years. Because if you see that it's 1985, today we're 1999. They are still continuing, these manifestations. And the gift that God has given to me is called locutions. Locutions means interior voice. It's distinctive, clear that there is this call first. You're called, you feel it within you. Then he gives interior visions to be able to transmit everything to others. This gift is not, as he said, is not to be kept for yourself, but to be able to give it to others, and it's for the benefit of the church. When God intervenes, he usually does intervene when times are getting very bad. And when I say bad, it is the whole Christian world is being de-Christianized, if you want. That people that once believed do not believe, once that they were fervent goers in the church, they don't go so much anymore. And there is atheism that's growing into the world today because of rationalism. Now, whenever something happened that disturbed, if you want, the flow of the spirituality of the church, something goes wrong, God always intervened. And why? It's not just so that he comes and twists our arms and says, yes, you must believe because I exist. No. If he intervenes, it's for our own good. Because we are today here, living in this world, but tomorrow, when we leave this world, we go somewhere else. And he wants us to be all in heaven. He doesn't want to lose anybody. Now, I know there will be skeptical people saying, well, heaven doesn't really exist and all this is a myth and all this. Well, this is what I'm talking about. That's why God intervenes, because of this sort of people that have lost their faith. And I was one of them, but not that I've totally lost my faith. I was not a churchgoer at all. I was not even looking for God at all. Now, I was not saying before my conversion, because I'm converted now, that I never believed in God. I knew God existed. I knew he was somewhere up there, high up, in his glory. I knew a little bit, like most of the people, the story of Jesus Christ from the scriptures from my school days. I've never had any catechism. I didn't penetrate into the real catechism because it is not obligatory, really, in the Orthodox Greek Church. Now, I've been brought up as an Orthodox, going for Easter in the church with the parents, and sometimes in Christmas times. But when I got married, I abandoned even that. I was not a churchgoer. And in fact, I was taken very much with the life that I was surrounded with. My husband worked for an international organization that sent us out in Africa. So I lived in Africa for about 17 years. And I was one of these expatriate, spoiled women having tennis clubs, cocktail parties, good life, you know, easy life, I would say. And I continued that way. In the meantime, I had two children, two boys, and they were growing up, I would say, without religion, because I myself and my husband, who was not really following or practicing our religion, like most people nowadays, I would say, in the world, they started to grow without God. Something happened to me in 1985 when we were in Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, my husband had a job. And while I was there and preparing a list of groceries to give to the servant, so that he buys the food for the cocktail dinner of that evening. As you see, my mind was focused on what will I buy next item. So it was far away from all things concerning church, God, everything, okay? And at that period of my life, I would add that it was a special period. Why? Because I was very busy with socializing. I'm a painter. I can't say professional, but I used to do that and make exhibitions. And I used to prepare an exhibition at that moment. I was involved with a tennis tournament, which was a national team of Bangladesh. So I was running at lunchtime in the courts playing those tournaments. In the morning I used to paint, and in the afternoon I used to go to the Sheraton Hotel, where I had a training of how to put dresses and perform them, mannequin style like this. But it was just hobby, it wasn't really paid or anything, it was just for fun I was doing this. So this was my life, and very successful, happy life with the family, nothing wrong. When I was preparing this list, something happened, and that is the wonder that happened, and it's a miracle. I know that many people don't believe in miracles, but I'm going to tell you what happened. I saw interiorly, with the eyes of the soul, my angel. Now, not everybody can do this or see things without God's grace and God's power, because we can do nothing that is, let's say, supernatural unless God intervenes. So suddenly, I saw the angel, and it was my guardian angel, and in fact, I felt also like as if he was holding my hand. I didn't see physically that he was holding my hand, but my hand was like a grip took my hand, and while I was waiting to write the next item, he pushed my hand to write what he wanted to say, and in fact I even heard him inside me. And he presented himself by saying, I am your guardian angel Daniel. My name is Daniel. And I was fascinated. I mean, I was not afraid. I was saying, that's great. I mean, I saw, it couldn't be that I was wrong, because I saw him inside me. He moved my hand. He changed the style of my writing. He wrote it in a very nice, long, like the icons. Sometimes you see writings which are, straight lines and nice, perfect. This is the way it was written. And it was not my style. And so I thought he would just go. And I was afraid to lift my hand, because I thought it was because of my hand. So I was holding the pencil still stuck on the paper, and I asked him a few questions, which he replied. And I realized that I can communicate with my angel. And I was saying, my goodness, this is wonderful. And I was just flying all over the flat, because even if I didn't write, I could hear him. He could manifest himself within me and speak to me. My husband comes in the afternoon. And it never crossed my mind that he would not believe me. I didn't even think of what his thoughts would be like. But I told him what happened, and I showed him the paper. And he said, well, why not? I mean, it can happen these things exist, but it's very rare. So this was the beginning, really. And then after a few days, still communicating with my angel was trying to tell me, ponder. He used the word ponder. And my communication was with English, because later on I found out that God always, when he intervenes, he uses the language of the person that he knows best. Let's say if it was Greek, I would say, okay, Greek. He would use Greek. But English is really my best language, because I can even write properly English, whereas Greek I don't know how to write. I know how to speak only. So that communication started. The angel was telling me, you have to ponder why God is sending me to you, to kind of wake you up. I couldn't imagine. I mean, what's happening today after 13 years, not even, I can tell you, not even in my wildest dreams would I have imagined that God will call me, prepare me, train me, educate me, give me passages of scriptures to understand, and tell me what to do, and prepare me for a mission to go and Christianize, as he said, this world who has become unchristian. Bring them back to their senses, in other words. Well, it's not easy.